Morning, you guys. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning and happy Saturday morning. I hope you guys are having a really, really good Saturday morning. And yeah, I'm having a great morning. Just getting ready for my vacation. I'm going to do a video probably like Wednesday, talking about all of the books that I'm taking with me on vacation, what I'm hoping to get read, what I think that I will get to. So, that being said, what are we here to talk about today? Well, today we are here to review a very anticipated book, and that is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. It is the official sequel to Powerless. Powerful is like a book 1.5. It's a novella that deals with different characters than the main storyline does, really, and they are coinciding timelines. And so Reckless is like the official book 2 in this series, and thankfully I didn't have to wait super long to read it because I just read Powerless at the beginning of this year. So I only had like maybe 4 or 5 months in between reading Powerless and Reckless, and I also had Powerful drop in there. So I was pretty fully immersed in this world. I will say, if it has been like, if you got like an arc of Powerless, or if it has been like years since you've read Powerless, like I think the arcs started coming out 2 years ago, I think I saw, I would highly recommend rereading Powerless because you are jumping right into the thick of things with Reckless. So yes, this is going to be completely spoiler-free for Reckless. I do recommend that you have read at least Powerless and probably Powerful before this, though, just in case I spoil anything from those two books. But you don't have to have read Reckless for this review. This is purely my feelings and my rating of Reckless. So I went into this with a super open mind. I loved Powerless. Powerful fell a little bit short for me, but I think it just was a little short and rushed, and I'm not sure. It just very much felt like a rushed novella that was given to us because we were in need of more in this world, if that makes sense. I don't know if the full thought was put into Powerful, and it left me just slightly wanting more of that particular story. But we jump immediately into exactly where Powerless left off with Reckless, right? So Peyton, your main female character, has murdered the king, and she is been found out to be a ordinary. She has no powers, and she is on the run from Kai, the younger brother prince, to the new king, because his older brother became king when she murdered the other king. Kit has sent him to find Peyton, and he wants her back dead or alive, preferably alive, but, you know, at this point there is a massive warrant on her head, and they don't care. They just want her back to pay for her crimes. And it immediately jumps into some action. There's a good bit more action, I felt like, in this particular book. There's constantly, capture, and I'm trying to do this spoiler free. There's constantly some sort of capture and release aspect to it, where the first book was more of a Hunger Games style game system, which I did enjoy as well. This is more of a on the run capture type of a book, and I really, really loved it. We are still following that enemies to lovers trope. There's still going to be a lot of pining between Peyton and Kai for each other, but they hate each other, but they are attracted to and love each other, but they hate each other. A lot of that going on because they should be, in all aspects, mortal enemies and just not together. So there is a lot of that going on. You see a bit of a softer side to both of them, which I really enjoyed. You really delve more into their backgrounds and their history. So if Powerless was the intro to these characters and this world, Reckless really gets its teeth in as far as the stories of these characters. The biggest thing I kind of missed was I did miss some of the characters from the first book that, hold on, I'm trying to pull up my notes here. Yes, I did miss some of the characters from the first book that were in the games, that, like the youngest brother of Kit and Kai. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of him. We got one glimpsing scene where he goes to see Kit in Kit's study, because Kit does have some chapters in this book. Not a lot. I'd say 80% of this book are from Kai and Peyton's perspective, and they are not in the capital or the castle. Like, they are off playing cat and mouse in the surrounding areas. But you get glimpses of what's going on with Kit with a few chapters, maybe 10%, in his perspective, and kind of what he's going through as he takes over as king, and the emotional turmoil of his father's murder. And so in that, we get a glimpse of the youngest brother just briefly, but I did wish there was more of that character. There was a really good set of characters introduced in the games, the family and friend group of the Prince brothers, that are very much missing in this book. I would say a huge chunk of this book is really just Peyton and Kai. So if you love that storyline, which it is the main storyline of the series, then you will be very satisfied. I did give this a 4, borderline 4.5, but still a 4, just because I was missing some of the characters that I had grew to love in Powerless, and then I got some of, some additional characters in Powerful that I loved, and this was really, really heavy Peyton Kai Recklesses, which, like I said, they're the main characters of this series, but they did introduce some very likable or dislikable, love to hate characters in the games of the first book that I just would have liked a little bit more of a check-in with, maybe. Just give, because there are Kit chapters in this book, maybe shown them just a little bit in those Kit chapters. I don't know. I'm not the writer, so I don't know how you could have done it. But Kit spends a good amount of this book in seclusion, and I feel like I understand why. When you read this book, you'll understand why. But it would have been an opening to maybe bring some of those book 1 characters from the games in that we kind of grew to either love or hate, and just see where they're at now, weeks and months later. So yeah, it has a big, I will say it has a big hook ending, or shock, like, not shocking ending, what's the word that I'm looking for, an ending that makes you want to pick up the next book, because it's already been released for April 2025. I believe it's called Fearless. April 2025. Don't quote me on the name of that book, but I think I remember seeing a TikTok or an Instagram reel that it's called Fearless. I do remember it's April 2025 is going to be the 3rd installment, and yeah, I'm really excited about that. So yeah, that is my review of Reckless. I gave it 4 stars out of 5, borderline 4.5. Really, my biggest complaint was missing some of those characters that I beloved in the first book. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. I've seen the comparisons to the Red Queen series. I do love the Red Queen series. I love Victoria Aveyard's work. I feel like this is kind of its own thing. And you're going to have similarities in anything. This wasn't definitely like a carbon copy or anything like that. So yeah, that's my review of Reckless. I love you guys so much. I'm going to do a haul of all of the books that I take on my trip with me, so that we can talk about exactly what I'm going to be reading. And I will see you guys next time. I love you. Bye.